Hello, Cruising World. Mick the Suit Guy with you. Today, it's a very, very important day. Today, which is why I'm wearing a very formal suit. I have a very formal announcement to make that effective today, because I know what day this video is going out, the minor guest policy on Carnival Cruise Line is changing a lot. So I think it's time we delved into it and went over this, because it's quite a lot to go into. So we're going to cover this. It's going to be a fairly formal video. I'm going to warn you. I'm having a very good day with my head attacks. So fingers crossed. I actually, as you read this, I'll have already been to see the neurologist. For those that don't know, I'm having something called trigeminal whatever it is. It's like I found out, right? There's 3 nerves, and when they're messed up, they send attacks to your head through the different nerves. Anyways, trigeminal whatever, I don't know what it's called. Anyways, but today, it's weird. Yesterday was a really bad day. Today is a good day. So let's get to this. Minor guest policy effective February the 1st, 2025. This is for Carnival Cruise Lines. Basically, the gist of this you're going to get is, before it was 12 and under, now it's pretty much 14 and under is the main change. But there's changes within everything else. So we're going to walk you through it so you understand it. And I'll put a link in the comments or in the description as well to the actual page that I'm reading from. And there we go. The first one. Dear. The minor policy for bookings created February the 1st, 2025 and onward. Guests are required to be 21 years of age on embarkation day to travel on their own. Guest ages will be verified at embarkation. Guests not conforming to this policy will result, see it started, in denied boarding, and no compensation will be provided at embarkation for additional minor age restriction guidelines while on board. So they're getting very strict on this. This is a big thing with Carnival. They're trying to change their image. It all started, believe it or not, when they stopped the pizza because of the fights. Whatever else they tell you, it's because of the fights. They stopped the nightclub going too late. They started to bring the music down in the nightclub. They started to bring the lights up the last hour. The music level goes down, and the music, what they call a BPM, the beats per minute, gets slower. So if you've been in the nightclub lately, you'll have noticed that last hour, which is earlier than it used to be, lights get lighter, music gets lower, and the speed of the music gets lower. And so they're trying to, whatever anybody tells you, I have inside scoops, and I'm not normally confident on my statements, but I'm very confident on this statement. Whatever they try and make up as an excuse, they're trying to improve their image because of all the fights and trouble. So this is like an extension of that by cracking down on certain things. So guests 20 years of age and younger must travel with a relative or guardian 25 years of age or older. The guardian does not need to be a legal guardian, but bear in mind there are rules. You'll have to bring letters from the parents saying it's okay for their kids to travel with this person. That's a whole other story. But let's get on with this for now. Minors cannot be booked under TBA offers. Cabins must be assigned. So you can't book under the BL for the balcony, when you don't know what the cabin is going to be, where it's a stateroom to be assigned later. You cannot book that if you are a minor. Okay? Guests who are 21 to 24 years of age may travel with their minor children. Where minor guests can be booked in relation to a relative or a guardian. This is where a lot of changes have happened, so you need to pay attention to this. It's very important because you may be used to it being different to this, but it's all changing. Guests 14 years of age and younger, again, it used to be 12. They must be booked with a relative or guardian 25 years of age or older in the same cabin or a connecting cabin. Okay? Guests 15 to 17 years of age can be separated by up to 3 staterooms from a relative or guardian 25 years of age or older. They must be linked as travel with a relative or guardian 20 years of age or older, your reservation must be noted and cross-referenced. So an issue with Carnival setup is you can make any booking you want and they don't really catch it up front. They might catch it down the line and call you before the cruise. But basically what they're saying here is if you make the booking and go against these rules, they don't catch it. You get to the port and you're not abiding by these rules, you're going to be denied boarding and you'll have no compensation. So they're basically putting everything on you. And you better believe this is going to be in the small print on the on the contract clauses for your booking that you agree to without reading like we all do. So be very, very conscious. I can't stress how important this is going to be if you're traveling with kids. There's no more getting away with it. Guests 18 to 20 years of age do not have any restrictions and may book whatever location they preferred, but again, they must be linked as travel with a relative or guardian 25 years of age or older, and this must be noted and cross-referenced. Okay, so basically what we're saying is, if you're 14 or younger, you need to be in the same or connecting cabin. If you're 15 to 17 years of age, that is with a 25-year-old, 25 and above person. 15 to 17 years of age can be separated by up to 3 statements from a relative or guardian 25 years or older. And for 18 to 20, you can be anywhere, but you must have that link. So how would you get that link on your booking? Well, if you have a travel agent, they'll do it for you. If you are booking on your own, you'll have to call Carnival and let them know. Because I promise you, they may not catch it. And if they don't catch it, they won't care. So you need to make sure you're the one that catches it and you're the one that's aware of all these rule changes. They may catch it. I did have a phone call recently of saying that this situation had arisen and I had to address it and I got it fixed. But I've also had situations where they didn't catch it and we had to address it when we got to the ship. But yeah. All right, so some specialty cabin guidelines. For Terrazza staterooms, this will be on the Venezia and the Firenze only. So their Terrazza is the equivalent of the Havana on the Vista class ships and the Excel class ships. Minors must be 12 years of age or older to cruise in Terrazza accommodations. And other rules will still apply about the 25 and above, being with somebody 25 and above. But this is the one time when 12 hasn't changed to 14. I wish they had. And it's basically the same with the Havana staterooms and suites. Minors must be 12 years of age or older to cruise in Havana accommodations. Now, I will say there is one difference on here. It just says Terrazza staterooms. Under Havana, it says Havana staterooms and suites. I don't know if that was a misprint. I'll have to look into that. I just noticed that. But there you go. So that doesn't happen too often, but just be aware of that. And in reality, that hasn't changed from where it is right now. Minors traveling together or as a group must follow standard booking guidelines for minors. 8 or more staterooms must be booked through the group department and a $100 damage deposit per minor will be charged. Prepaid gratuities per minor are due at final payment. So they're going to charge you a $100 damage deposit per minor on a group cruise. This is only if you book it from today on, not from before, no, from February. Oh, it is today because that's the day this video is going out. Prepaid gratuities must be paid at final payment for minors in a group, not necessarily in an individual cabin. We're talking about a group here. So yeah, be aware of that. That's a big one. That is a very big one. The $100 damage deposit per minor will be charged in addition to the cost of the cruise. So don't ask me how you get it back. I'm sure you have to claim it back afterwards, or they give it back afterwards if there is no issues. But you've got to pay that up front. Traveling with minors. Okay. When traveling with a minor where one parent or both parents or legal guardians are not cruising, we strongly recommend bringing an original signed letter from the absent parents or legal guardians authorizing the minor to travel with you. If there is no second parent with legal claims to the minor due to sole custody, deceased, etc., other relevant paperwork such as a court decision, a death certificate, a birth certificate naming only one parent would be useful to bring in place of a signed letter. This will expedite processing by the Department of Homeland Security. So what they're saying there is basically they're saying they strongly recommend it. You don't have to. I'm telling you, bring it, because this is Carnival saying that, and the Department of Homeland Security are different people to Carnival. And you know they can sometimes get power crazy. I'll give you a quick example. I took my citizenship test this past week and I passed. Great. And they said, right, we'll let you know when your oath ceremony is going to be. Me being an idiot thinks it won't be for a few weeks, and knowing that I have to go on a cruise in February for Julie's 50th birthday, which I cannot cancel. I'm going to deal with this. And by the way, it's been pretty repetitive since I started talking, but I'm getting through it. So I cannot cancel it. So of course, my oath ceremony right in the middle of the cruise. So I call to see if I can change it. And there's nobody you can talk to. The only thing I can do is to send a letter. So I'm like, you know what? I'll be gone. I don't want to risk sending the letter. Let me go back to the office area where I did the test. I go back there, you know, the security guards and everybody there, and they wouldn't even talk to me. He literally put in my face that I have to call this number and send a letter to change the date. And there's people sitting in there that are the ones that are going to change the date. So I have to go through, and I have to come home, write up a letter, type it out, print it up. I don't have envelopes or stamps anymore like most people. So I had to go to the, you have to go through a whole rigmarole just to get this done. My point is, people in charge, and they're probably nice people outside of work, but they get a bit power crazy. When we went to the interview the other day, Julie tried to put her bag on the conveyor belt to go through, and the security guard said, I do that, you do not touch those bags. And I was like, all right then. If you say anything, you can get in a lot of trouble. And they know that. So they know they can be power crazy. So my point is with this, bring these letters, because the Homeland Security people, depending on who it is, they could be wonderful, but they could be what we used to call in England jobs worth. When they would say, it's more than my job's worth to do anything that's not written on paper that I have to do. And I follow everything down the line with a strict code. And there's no leniency allowed. And if it says you're supposed to bring a letter, you damn well better have a letter. So I'll read it one more time because this is very important. When traveling with a minor where one parent or both parents or legal guardians are not cruising, we strongly recommend bringing an original signed letter from the absent parents or legal guardians authorizing the minor to travel with you. If there is no second parent with legal claims to the minor due to sole custody, deceased, etc., other relevant paperwork, such as a court decision, death certificate, birth certificate naming only one parent, would be useful to bring in place of a signed letter. This will expedite processing by the Department of Homeland Security. Just bring everything you need to bring, just to be careful, just to be safe. I'm panicking now because my green card expires in July and I can't get my new passport, and you're supposed to travel with a valid thing for 6 months after the cruise. And I don't know what I'm going to do. We'll find out. And the last bit here is exceptions. Guests aged 18 to 20 may travel without a relative or guardian of 25 years of age or older under the following conditions. They are legally married, including same-gender couples, and proper documentation must be provided at embarkation. Failure to provide documentation or not conforming to this policy will result in denied boarding and no compensation will be provided. Documentation includes marriage license issued by the county clerk's office, legal proof of civil union for newly married couples, a copy of the marriage license application or certificate signed by the official that performed the ceremony, as in you haven't got your official marriage license yet, so you can bring those. And then the other exception, qualified military personnel. This applies to US military personnel and Canadian National Defence personnel and their travelling companions in the same stateroom of 18 to 20 years of age. So basically what they're saying there is if you are in a cabin with somebody that's not in the military, then that is okay. That's how I read that. I would double check that, but if you read it, it says applies to US military personnel and Canadian National Defense personnel, brackets, and their traveling companions in the same stateroom. Doesn't say they have to be military, of 18 to 20 years of age. Copy of proof of service must be provided at embarkation. Failure to provide documentation or not conforming to this policy will again result in denied boarding and no compensation will be provided. So there you go. This is very important if you're traveling with minors to know these new rules. They are really cracking down on this stuff. The wording in this, I promise you, it's a lot stricter, a lot more legalese, not more legal words in there than there was before. I don't remember ever seeing anything, I could be wrong, about being no compensation if you break the rules and this, that, and the other. They're cracking down. So, again, I'm going to put a link to this in the description of this video, and there will also be a link in the comments when it comes out. Make sure you read this thoroughly. If you have any questions on this, please email me, cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. It'll come up in the video too. Make sure you email me with your questions or contact Carnival directly. Okay, because if I don't know the answer, I will find the answer out for you because I've got contacts. But I cannot stress enough, there's changes in here that are pretty seriously written, and don't mess with this. The thing is, cruising is so popular now, so popular. They don't care if they kick a few people off a ship for breaking the rules. That's the bottom line. They're more worried about their image, which I totally understand. I'm not saying this is a bad thing at all. I'm not saying cutting down the pizza is a bad thing. I'm not saying that the club coming down is a bad thing. Nobody wants fights on a cruise ship. We want to enjoy our cruise, right? They'll never admit that's the fact. That's my point. But I think everything they're doing is actually really good. But yeah, if you're still watching this, which is a miracle because that's a lot of waffling to go through, I hope that all made sense. I tried to make it as clear as possible. But again, I'm not an expert on this. Don't go in there and say, oh, the suit guy said this was good. I'm reading what Carnival's written on their website to you and explaining it as I read it. If it's not clear to you or you don't agree with what I say, etc., don't just assume that I'm right. I think I am, but clause, I'm never going to be that guy that says this is how it is. This is how it's written. And I read it word for word. Hopefully it makes sense. If you have any doubts at all, please email me and I'll find out the answer for you, or contact Carnival directly, give them your concerns, because basically that's what I'm going to do. So with that, please subscribe. And if you have any questions, like I said, my email, cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. And subscribe and hit the little button, as if I haven't reminded you enough already. And with that, wish me luck at the neurologist. Actually, because I went 4 days ago. This is the Saturday before I'm doing this. And it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. Not too bad. There's a few, but it wasn't too bad. Yesterday was a very bad day. Today, because yesterday I had a lot of stress with the whole date change and all that other stuff. That's what it is, it's stress. This week I went to the dentist to find out if it was my tooth potentially, and they x-rayed my teeth. It's not my teeth. I've had a CT scan. I've been doing chiropractor, and none of it's really working. And next week, hopefully on top of the neurologist, I will be going to see an acupuncturist. She's trying to fit me in. So, yeah. Don't wish this on anybody. They call it the suicide disease because the pain is so bad you want to kill yourself. I'm not there yet, but it's pretty bad at times. But today, not so bad. So, I could talk a bit longer, but I will see you later, Cruising World. Please subscribe. Well, thanks for watching. Don't forget, subscribe, hit that bell, and you'll get notifications when new videos come out. And don't forget, click on the links to the left and right of me. You can watch playlists, new video suggestions, and more. Any questions? Email me, cruisingsuitguy@gmail.com. And don't forget, I'm a travel agent. Email for help.